Welcome. This is Jeffrey B. I am a sex and love addict, codependent. Good to be here with you today. Might be a little bit of background noise because I've got a fan here. It is hot. I'm in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and I'm recording from this lovely little nook, little breakfast place called Mason or something. Anyway, it's a little local restaurant on the corner, right next to my hotel, and they have great waffles. And I'm ordering some waffles. But what I want to do is I want to get back into the flow of just at least some discussing the daily readings and what we're going to do. You've seen some other entries from me about ACA entries from the Strengthening My Recovery text, but this time I'm going to actually read and then comment on a text from the State of Grace, just from my experience, strength, and hope. I want to get back into the swing of recovery talk. I get out in the weeds and distracted regarding some things because I have this pressure on me, and my parts say, hey, we need to be doing something. We need to be making something of our life. We need to be unique, successful, do something new, because that's what society pressures me and a lot of us to do. Instead, all I really need to do is I do have a purpose. My primary purpose is to carry the message to, for me, alcoholics, adult children, and sex and love addicts, to carry the message to those who still suffer and to practice these principles in all my affairs. That's my primary purpose. But I get out in the weeds and I think I have other purposes and I've got to do other things, and that's when I get into suffering. So let's go ahead. Today is May the 3rd. Let's get the reading on your screen. May 3rd, State of Grace. Here we go. Here we are, May 3rd. Let go and let God. Affirming our spirituality, relying upon a power greater than ourselves. Becoming open to accepting the unexpected turns in our life. Practicing acceptance when situations don't go our way. More easily sensing we are being guided by our higher power. Trusting that our higher power is using our personal struggles for a greater good, from the Measuring Progress pamphlet. In active addiction, we hold on to people or situations that aren't good for us because we don't know what will happen if we let go. Often, higher power has something better in store for us. It's difficult to trust that God will be there for us. It turns out higher power had a much better plan for my life than I ever had for myself. It just took the opening of the door to let him in. It's difficult to trust something we don't understand or have never believed in. Doing all the steps in order helps us come to a place where we can start to believe. First, we surrender to the addiction, then we come to believe. We turn our lives over and clear out the wreckage of our past. If we truly let go, we are able to do this painful task willingly. God takes over for us when we are too weak to continue, if we let him. And here's our little affirmation or mantra for today. Today, I accept life's struggles and trust that my higher power will be there for me. And that is from State of Grace Daily Meditations, SLAA. Yes, the idea of holding on to something, even though it's not good for me, is an undercurrent of my life. Welcome to any chapter of my life. You will see that. Generally, it's because of fear of the unknown. It's the devil you know. It may be bad for you, but it's the devil you know. So you decide to continue on because at least you're comfortable, no matter how painful it is, you're familiar with this kind of pain, right? And that's what this reading's talking about. But in recovery, we just let go. We let go of old relationships. We let go of people in our lives who are unhealthy for us. We may not even actively let go. We may just say, if this person wants to come around, then we'll have a conversation. Or if this relationship is meant to be, then I can let go of it and it's going to come back to me. And that is so hard because we want control as addicts. We want control. We want to think we're managing life. We want to organize things. We want to make plans. We want to hold on to stuff because if it leaves us, it may never come back again. Well, it may not supposed to be come back again because it might be unhealthy or toxic for us. And these are the things that are hard to accept about recovery. I've been going through some situations recently where I have this desire to be validated. And I've talked about it in some of my other videos. I want to be validated. I want to come up with some great new idea, new concept, a new technology, a new product, a new way of writing or a movie or whatever. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on me to do this. And that pressure is coming from me. Yes, society also, global society, especially my culture of origin, pushes a lot of people to say, well, it's not okay to just be you. You've got to be me plus my talents, me plus my audience, me plus my art, my portfolio, my website, my Instagram, my followers, me plus plus. It's not okay to just be me. And that's what society pushes. It's almost like a superego. It's a cultural superego somehow, telling us what we should, what's okay, what's not, what's right and wrong, what's acceptable, what's not, what we should be striving for, what we can't accept. You see it all the time in society. Women must marry up, hypergamy. They can't marry down, hypogamy. They can't because it's against the social norms, against the rules. What will people think of them? What's mom gonna say? Oh, you settled for less, and all that. And that's a story of a lot of our lives. But in recovery, all I've got to remember is my primary purpose in recovery is to help the still sick and suffering sex addict, love addict, codependent, alcoholic, adult child. That's my purpose. Because recently I have felt my life is purposeless, meaningless, and I have no direction. I'm 44 years old and I don't know what the hell I want to do when I grow up. As John Bradshaw used to say. And he was 53, 50 plus at that time. But I still feel that, I can still feel that to this day, not knowing what I want to do, but feeling the clock is ticking and I feel a lot of pressure. Really, I have a purpose. Thank God I'm in recovery, and recovery tells us what our purpose is. Our primary purpose is to help others, to be a good Samaritan, to help others, to be of service, and to help others who are still sick and suffering. So really, if I just focus on that as my purpose, I'm going to be okay. But in this reading, we've got to surrender to the addiction. We've got to surrender to God. First, Bob D of AA, he's made a lot of good talks. And one of them he says is first he got surrendered by the bottle, then he got surrendered by life. And boy, I can relate to that. And I think that's what happens when we get into recovery. We start in AA, we start in NA. Next thing you know, we're in ACA. Next thing you know, we're in SLAA. We're in CODA. Because you realize that alcohol was just a symptom of deeper underlying problems you've got to get through. So that's just my feedback on today's reading. I have some situations in my life I need to let go of. People, places, things, and if they're meant to be, it's gonna work. But if I'm having to cling on for dear life, if I'm clinging to those people, places, and things, if I'm trying to hang on and control it, and God's telling me, hey, look, I don't want you in this, and this is gonna happen and that's gonna happen. I'm gonna make you uncomfortable, or you're gonna feel uncomfortable because you're doing your will, Jeff. God's will is sometimes feels comforting and it feels natural and right. But my will, that's suffering. That's suffering. I know if I'm going to do my will, I'm going to suffer. And I've got to really take a step back and see where God's will is in the bigger picture. So I'm going to stop there with May 3rd reading, Let Go and Let God. Please take the time to pray to your higher power and let go and let God. Until next time.